So the question today is, what do you want? And on face value, it's a really simple question because we all have an idea in ourselves what it is that we want. Could be, what do you want to do today? What do you want to do at the weekend? What do you want to do next year? Where do you want to be next year? Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? In 10 years' time? What sort of life do you want to be living? And if those are questions that you ever ask yourself, and you should be asking yourself those questions because your inner self is always shouting out to you, it's sending you messages continuously, but for some reason we just choose to ignore them. So have a think. What is it that you want? What is it that you're doing now? Are you happy? Are you happy in your current lifestyle? I'm not trying to sell you financial get rich quick scheme, by the way. So continue watching. This is going somewhere. Yeah, are you happy? Are you happy in your current lifestyle, in your current profession, your current job, where you're living? Maybe you don't like your house. Maybe you don't like your town. Maybe you don't like the fact that you have to set your alarm and get up at 6 o'clock every morning. Maybe you don't like coming home at 6 o'clock at night and the first thing you have to do is cook dinner, and then you have just enough time to watch the telly, watch some Netflix, and then you're so tired you're falling asleep. You go back upstairs, go have a shower, brush your teeth, go to bed, and you rinse and repeat. Well, I've found myself in that position previously for over a decade, and it ground me down, and I ended up saying no. I ended up just quitting my job, but I put some plan in place and it took some preparation. I didn't just throw in the towel. I had to have something else to do, but we'll talk about that another time. But what I've touched on there is that I took a step to change my life. I initiated a shift, and small shifts in our lifestyle and in our realm of existence create a chain reaction in the greater reality that we're all exposed to. And we're exposed to our reality, our world, the world that we live in, Earth. We decode it through our senses, through our 5 senses. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to be somewhere else, and it could be physically or mentally, spiritually, then we have to think about ourselves in that situation, in that position, whatever it is, and it could be absolutely anything. In order to initiate a change in your life, and we could call that jumping timelines into another version and a better version of your current self, we have to initiate a step. We have to take that small first step. Small steps lead to medium-sized steps, and then they turn into giant leaps for you, a giant leap for yourself to get from where you are now to where you want to be. For some reason in our reality that we found ourselves in this world, we've been conditioned, and this is generally speaking, it might not necessarily be the case for you, but if it's not the case for you, you'll certainly know somebody who has fallen into this trap, for want of a better way of describing it, is that we tend to focus on what we don't have rather than what it is that our inner self, actually desires. Now, our inner self is a combination of our senses, which are decoding reality, and our consciousness. You're watching this now, and you're conscious that you are watching it. It's possible that our consciousness is our soul, but our mind, body, and soul experience the world, and the result of it is our consciousness. And we are all conscious, and we should be very thankful daily and put out gratitude for just being alive and being conscious. And we forget that. We just take it for granted. We just go to bed, we rinse and repeat our lives. We focus on what we don't have. Generally, these are material things. If you was to go around on the street and do a survey or ask your friends, what is it you want? Most people will turn around and say, right, I want a Bentley. I want a Rolex. I want a fast car. I want a beach house in Laguna. I want to be living at the top of a mountain or something like that. Now, these are all achievable, but do you really want it? Firstly, are you prepared to spend your energy and your time? Because time is so important. Time is the most precious commodity that we have while we're here. Money is secondary to time, but we do need money to live. And we'll talk about that another time because it's really important. And it's something that didn't really dawn on me until about 4 years ago. Just that hang on, it's not normal that we have to have money, credit, as I call it, to survive, to buy stuff. So we often want what we don't need. And our minds can get stuck on the material world around us, the material things that we're conditioned and exposed to think that we want. I mean, whatever it is you're doing now, and I know you're watching this video now, but however it is you're living your life, that's materialized and manifested from somewhere. And I can promise you it started with a thought. No matter what it is you're doing, however it is you spend your days, it's initially started with a thought, and you probably got that thought somewhere from reality. If we can talk about what an original thought is another time, because that's really mind-bending. What is an original thought, and do any of us actually have an original thought? So if we're stuck on material thoughts, what this does is it imprints our fears, doubts, and hurdles into our psyche, into our consciousness, into our soul. And it's our fears, doubts, worries, hurdles, anxieties, apprehensions. These are all descriptive words for something similar that stop us. Breathe. Going to look around the fence now because there's often deer next door, and you can imagine he's a German Shepherd, he's prey drive. He just loves barking at deer. There's nothing I can do to stop him. Our fears, doubts become hurdles, and they get imprinted onto our consciousness, and our consciousness becomes our reality. And what happens is that if we focus too much on our negatives, our worries, our fears, which can overwhelm us, and they do overwhelm us, and they've previously overwhelmed me, they become our reality. They become our existence. They become our day-to-day life. And if you're thinking positively, then that's good. Our positive thoughts become our positive world. If we're thinking negatively, our negative thoughts become our negative world. So then if we think back to what it is that you want, apply your positive mindset, your positive way of thinking into what it is, what the end goal is. Now, the journey between the starting point and the ending point isn't always important. It's just knowing that you have an end point, an end goal. And some way, the universe will send you that end goal with enough thought and enough positive output, because we put out what it is we attract in. If we put out positive vibes, high vibrational thinking and feeling, and we'll attract that back in. We're negative Nancy, and we're always worrying about stuff, then we tend to draw in the negativity, and we create that for ourselves. Because our minds do create our reality, our existence, which is our consciousness after all. So we start by initiating a small shift. Small shifts become larger shifts, and they instigate that chain reaction, which I spoke about a moment ago. And it can be difficult for a lot of people to comprehend, but if you've got an open mind, our mind works best like a parachute. If you can go skydiving now, and after free falling for 30 seconds, you pull your parachute out and it's only half open, it's not going to get the air resistance that you need, and you're just going to crash straight into the ground. However, if your parachute's completely open, then it will act as it's supposed to, and you'll land safely on the ground. So our minds work in a similar way. If you've got a closed mind, then you're not going to be able to get through the world that we're in as smoothly or as comfortably as with an open mind. And it's simple as that. If you think about ourselves as being magnetic, when you were in school, you would have put the two magnets together. And if you put the two positive ends next to one another, I think they push each other away. And I think it's the same with the negative sides. If you put the positive and negative next to each other, they'll attract in. Think about yourself as a magnet. Now, don't focus on the positive and negatives that I've just said, because they have different connotations from a spiritual perspective. But if you're magnetic, or you're a magnet and you're walking through a room full of metal filings, you're going to attract those in. Think about the metal filings being your abundance. You go into a room and it's filled with love, happiness, excitement, all the positive feelings that are absolutely natural for our bodies to experience. And you're the magnet in that room, you want to be attracting those in. So we can reframe the world around us to better suit ourselves and to better suit our way of thinking and our thought patterns. I think that's called something like the law of attraction, which is a psychological, worldly phenomenon that most people experience, similar to manifesting, but we just don't realize that we're experiencing it. So what we want to do is we want to claim back ourselves, and you want to claim yourself to be that, what it is that you want to be, and what it is that you want to desire, or what it is that you desire or desire to be. And that end result of your desire is the best version of yourself, which is already out there. No matter what you're doing now and how you're feeling, wherever you are, what your routine is, how you make money, how you spend your money, there is always a better version of yourself out there that we can tap into. We just need to know how to tap into it, how to tune ourselves into that person so that we can be the best and highest version of ourselves. Otherwise, we're not who we really want to be, and we end up living life a bit like an imposter. Now, I'm not saying that you're unhappy. I hope everybody's happy, and we do all experience happiness and love and joy and light and abundance in different forms and different wave formats. So we'll go back to the beginning, and that is, what do you want? What do you want? And my suggestion and the way I tend to operate is that I think about it before bed when I'm relaxing, when I'm at my most relaxed state. I think about what it is and I visualize my end goal. I don't put too much thought into the journey about how I'm going to get there and what I might need to do and what obstacles and hurdles that I might need to overcome. I just think of the end result, the outcome of what it is that I want. And whatever it is that you want is completely and absolutely achievable, and you will achieve it. It just takes a small shift in mindset. You have to make a few small adjustments, and small steps and adjustments become much larger steps in this chain reaction that we initiate with the world around us. So yeah, I'm outside today because we're obviously in, it's the autumn now, we're in October, or the fall, autumn, fall, same thing. So yeah, the leaves starting to fall off the trees, and it's been really cold just lately. The last couple of weeks, I haven't really been able to get outside much other than walking the beast. You might have seen walking around in the background. Today's mild and it's about 20 degrees, which is crazy. But the house that I'm staying in at the moment is freezing. It's absolutely freezing nearly all the time because the house is about 500 years old and it's still got the original, well, has single glazed sash windows. That one of the windows is from 1750. And if you contextualize that, that predates the Declaration of Independence. It predates America as we know it. I mean, that's mind-boggling. There's a window in the house that I'm at the moment, which is older than an entire country. So yeah, like and subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed our chat, and I will see you guys again another time. Bye-bye.